Hey, my name is Kent Rathbun, and I'm the executive chef of Abacus and Jasper's restaurant, and I'm here to talk about chili lime biscuits. I'll tell you about what we have as far as ingredients. We're going to use whole butter. You could use a mixture of shortening or butter, but I like the butter. We have flour. We have all the dry ingredients, which are salt, sugar, a little bit of baking powder, and also our chili. This is ancho chili powder. We also have some cream, we have buttermilk, we have a little bit of fresh lime juice, lime zest, and fresh chives, and then we have a little more to kind of add for the top. So let's get started. I think what we're going to do here, we could certainly do this in a bowl. This is really kind of easy to do it in a food processor. The thing about biscuits is not to overwork them. I don't care what you do, I don't care how good a recipe it is, if you overwork the biscuit, you're going to end up with a tough biscuit. It's never going to be a good thing. So what I'm going to show you is that when people get to a point where they think they need to keep on mixing, that's probably when you need to stop. So let's get started. Whole butter going into the food processor, right? Also make sure that your butter is cold, very, very important. Flour, we're going to put in just like this. We're also just going to keep a little bit of flour left over for the board when we get ready to put this back on the board. Now, we have our dry ingredients. This is the chili powder. This is the salt, the sugar, and the baking powder, and we're just going to kind of sprinkle that in, okay? And then we're just going to give this a little spin, just like this, to kind of get it going here, all right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of spin this up until this gets to a point of being like oatmeal. And you hear people talking about kind of an oatmeal consistency with biscuits and things like that. So you're basically trying to cut the butter into the flour. Pretty simple. What do you think that was? Maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds? Not too long. So we're going to take that apart. We're going to now put in a little bit of our buttermilk. Okay. And we're going to start just kind of pulsing this a little bit. Okay. Just like that to mix it in. All right. Now we're going to start pulsing in our cream. And you're going to start to see this kind of pull together. You can even hear it kind of sort of slow down a little bit. There you go. Yeah, so it's kind of slowed down now. All right, so now we're going to pull this out. Okay. Set all this aside. And now we're going to put this out on our board. Okay, so we have a little bit of flour here. We can get ready to set this up. We're just going to flour the board a little bit, just like this. All right. Then we're going to pull this off. Take that apart just like that. And then here we go out. Just like that. And what we're going to do is just kind of pull these out. And this is the time that you just don't want to overmix, okay? Everything is kind of mixed in there. And it's kind of starting to form this biscuit dough. And I want to take all the dough off of the blade here. And just kind of take everything off like that. All right. Now, we're going to use a little bit more flour on the top, just kind of keep our hands from getting too soaked. All right. And we're going to also add in our chili, our lime, and all the chives. Okay. And now we're just going to kind of start working this carefully in, just like this. All right. And you can start to see this kind of start to form up a little bit. We're going to add a little bit more flour, okay? And we just want to kind of form up a ball, and we just want to pat it carefully. This is definitely the time not to knead it too much. You want to really slow down and start to kind of treat it very gently at this point, okay? All right, so now we're going to just continue just like this, all right? And we're going to kind of pat it down just like this and just kind of bring it together. I kind of feel like that's enough flour. And you know, making biscuits is kind of one of those things where the more you make it, the more you can kind of feel with your hands and you can see how the dough looks. You know, my grandmother told me that. I think she's right. So we're just going to kind of pick this up, move it on the other side, kind of pat it the same way, okay? And what we're trying to do now is just kind of move everything in. We're trying to get all these little particles put in here just like this. And I kind of like a tall biscuit, at least an inch, probably maybe more, maybe an inch and a quarter. But these are kind of up to you, whatever you like, okay? And then you can see that I've kind of patted this down. Now, I have a rolling pin, and you know, we can take the rolling pin and just kind of roll them out, make them a little bit more flat on the top, and it kind of gives you the opportunity to make it really nice and neat. Now, let me show you this. A lot of people at this point would now take these biscuits and they would punch it out with a cookie cutter, which you can do. The problem with that is you end up with a little bit of scrap. And I'm going to tell you, a biscuit this good, I think you kind of want to make sure you get it all. So what we're going to kind of do here is we're going to begin to form this into kind of a square, okay? And then instead of cutting biscuits round with a cookie cutter, we're going to cut them with a knife, and we're going to cut them square, okay? That way you get to use every piece. All right, so now we got this ready to go. All right, now, meanwhile, back at the ranch, I got the oven here. We're going about 400 degrees. 375 is fine. 350 is okay too, but I like that little extra heat of 375 to 400, and it makes the biscuit pop really nice. And so I think any place between 350 and 400 in a convection oven is probably fine. We're using our outdoor kitchen. We're using our pizza oven today, and this is going to be pretty cool. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to cut our biscuits just like this. All right. Cut square biscuits. And I'm going to get a little flour on the knife here, just like that. All right. Because down inside it's still a little sticky, so we want to make sure that the knife is, you know, ready to go. All right. We're going to cut again. Now we're ready to put these in a pan. I've got a cast iron skillet preheating in the 375 degree pizza oven. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to spray it with a little bit of food release spray to make sure they don't stick on the bottom. And then we're going to layer them in there. And then before we put them back in the oven, we're going to brush them with a little clarified butter. Another trick is maybe a little cream on the top. Makes a fantastic topping, makes it nice and shiny, and gives it really nice flavor. All right, we're going to use a little spray. Just like that. And then we're going to start laying these in here. By the way, when I lay these in here, I kind of separate them just a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch apart. I don't know about you, but I sure like cooking outside. I'm telling you, what a beautiful day it is in Dallas, Texas. So we just got some fresh chives. This could be scallion if you like, but chives are really nice. These came out of the garden. So we're just going to kind of cut these super small, really tiny little snip, just like this. And, you know, it's kind of important to make these really small because I think that the top of the biscuit will really look awesome with this. So we're just going to do a few. We don't need a lot. Now we're going to take a little bit of clarified butter. We got a brush here. Remember, this could be cream too. Cream or the buttermilk, either one would be nice. We're going to kind of brush these just like that. Okay. And make sure they're all coated. And this does two things. This gives you a little added flavor, but it also really makes the top of the biscuit shine as it bakes. By the way, this is not a hot biscuit. You know, it's not too spicy. Little chili powder if you like it a little bit more, no problem. You could add a little cayenne if you wanted. All right, so now we're going to kind of just sprinkle the chives right on the top. So I really like a little fresh lime zest right on the top of the biscuits. This adds just that great flavor of beautiful citrus right at the last moment. All right, I think we're ready to go in the oven. You ready? Let's go. Yeah, nice crunchy golden brown top. Very nice, very nice. All right, let me take a look here. I'm going to pull one of these out and see how they look. Oh yeah. So see, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for these to kind of just pull apart real delicately. Look at that. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to eat this. Little cherry jam with this ancho lime biscuit. I don't think it gets any better than this. I wish you could taste this with me. Cook some biscuits. Enjoy.